Chief, tell everybody, introduce yourself, and then we'll start from there.
Okay, I'm Shuk Hamdan. Recently moved to the town of Iva. I've been in law enforcement for, I think, going on 16 years now. I worked most of my career in the state of Georgia. I've been in Iva since June of 2020. Came to the great town of Iva as a road officer. Started duty of police chief back in December of 2020. So I've been doing this for about right at 7 months now.
When you were growing up, did you always want to be in law enforcement? Did you grow up thinking you'd do this?
I wasn't really sure. It's something I had, I think, kind of in the back of my mind, something I wanted to do, something I thought I wanted to try. I've enjoyed it. It's been a good career so far.
Where'd you grow up?
Elbert County, Georgia, just across the lake from here.
So this area is nothing new to you.
Right, yeah, somewhere we used to pass through a lot going to Anderson as a kid.
And growing up, did you have any, did you know people who were in law enforcement, or did you know any people that were involved in it?
I knew a few of them. I had some, I don't know, I guess as a kid you think you have, you look back later, I guess they were kind of heroes to you when you were a kid. The people that helped you out a lot, and people would just stop and take up time with you.
What was your first job in law enforcement?
My first job in law enforcement, I started in Livonia, Georgia. I was just a regular patrol officer. Started there my first year in law enforcement. I had been there less than a year. I had made officer in charge of my shift at that time. Really enjoyed it. Stayed there for a couple of years. Left there and went to Tacoma, Georgia. Stayed there. I think I was there for about 9 years. Got out of law enforcement for a little while. Came back. Just something that gets in your blood. You can't stay away from it.
What have been some of the challenges of being chief of a small town? Because that's a different job than some of the other law enforcement stuff you did.
I think the biggest thing is anything that happens in a small town, you can't keep it a secret, whether it be during an investigation or anything like that. I think everybody pretty much knows everything that's going on. If they don't, they think they know it, and then so I think
How many officers do y'all have here? How much? I'm not sure. I know the police force here.
If we're fully staffed, we should be at 13 officers. We're short 2 right now. We're looking for 2 more good officers. So.
Well, and it's a strange time to be in law enforcement. What are some of the challenges y'all face now down here?
I think the challenges we've got right now, the biggest challenge we've had is dealing with COVID, going through the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy as far as training, stuff like that, finding people to come in and do training. I feel like we're at a point now where we're close to the end of that. I think July 1st, the Academy is actually opening back up for advanced training classes too, so that's going to be a big plus for us. So I think it's one of the biggest things we've had is just giving our officers training.
Well, it's a challenging time to be in law enforcement.
Yes.
Just in general. Is there anything you or your guys do to try to diffuse some of this national stuff that's going on, or the other stuff people see in the news?
We try to do a lot of in-house training, training amongst our guys. We don't get chances to do it like with the whole department wide, but maybe we'll get like a handful of us. We'll get out and train, doing different things. Whether it's with the new guys out here in the parking lot, training for. We had one guy that's in the academy now. Before he started, we were in the parking lot doing just start with the basic stuff, traffic stops, and work up from there. We've got some abandoned buildings in town. I've done a lot of training in the past, like helping train SWAT guys and stuff like that. So we get out some of our vacant buildings, stuff like that, just doing like some building clearing and just stuff that we need, that we feel like is going to be detrimental in the future for our training stuff.
A lot of people don't realize that in small towns, a lot of the calls y'all get really don't have much to do with crime.
Right.
Tell people what an average, number of calls y'all get that aren't crime related. What kind of things do y'all get called for all the time?
We get a lot of calls for animal complaints. So we do have a town ordinance for people supposed to keep their dogs on leashes or whatever. And the typical response we get is, well, I had him in there and he climbed out, or a lot of stuff we get too. We get a lot of domestic related calls. We get out, and it's basically people arguing. Somebody's hurt them and say, oh, they're over there fighting, and we get there and it's nothing even to that fact. Somebody just got upset and got loud and having a typical argument. So. And
I think the instinct for a lot of folks has grown up in a small town. Just call the police. They
right.
They don't call the right place they need to call. They just call y'all for everything.
Yes.
What kind of relationship do y'all have with Anderson County law enforcement and working with the sheriff's department and that kind of thing?
pretty good relationship with them. We do a lot of work with the investigators over there. Work hand in hand with a lot of stuff. I've actually got 5 schools here, so Anderson County District 3 falls under me, so I've got 5 SROs in the schools too, so the investigators there are great to work with. They've been very helpful.
How difficult is it to be an SRO in the schools now? Because they're not quite sure what they're supposed to do and what they're not supposed to do sometimes. I mean, you've got some experience with that, right?
Yes, yeah, I've actually done SRO at the high school this past year, so we're looking.
What was that like?
It was actually a good experience. It helps me. I got to know, all the kids there in the school, get to know a lot of their parents and everything, and get to go to the football games and meet a lot of the town people and everything, and so it was actually a good experience. I've got one of my SROs too. He told me before. He said you couldn't have beat him, made him work in the school. He said now you couldn't beat him, make him leave the school. So it's actually a pretty good job.
And do you live in Iva now?
I do. I live here in
What do
town.
you think about living in a small town like? I mean, you're not from a big city, but living in Iva, what are some of the advantages of being here?
Well, I think the biggest advantage is just knowing people. So I get to go to the store, but being fairly new here, I don't know everybody, so it's kind of a game where I tell my wife, I say, I put on my ball cap, my sunglasses, walk in the store or something. A lot of people just say hi, don't know who I am, and then other people kind of call me out on it, and it's like, think I'm sneaking around or something. But I enjoy it here. It's great where you can just walk down the street, my wife or whatever, and people are waving, saying hello and everything. It's just that small town atmosphere, and I think that's what we were looking for. So it works out good.
If somebody that's a citizen here is watching this and they're getting to know you and they maybe already know you, what are some things that the citizens can do to help you and your officers here to keep Iva safe and to make this a great place?
Just stay alert and watch what's going on around them. If they see something, they can report it to the police department. If it's something that's emergency, they call 911 or they can call the police department direct. A lot of people stop me on the streets and tell me stuff, or they'll stop my officers. Being a small town, most of us are pretty well known here, so all my guys are friendly, professional, so be contacted easily.
And do y'all have certain ways y'all keep in contact? Y'all do social media, websites, is there any way y'all keep in regular contact with folks that just need basic information?
Pretty much. We've got the town website. Tim Taylor heads that up. A lot of people contact Tim for certain questions and everything. Like we've got going on like the summer night stuff. We've got the 4th of July fireworks, stuff like that. Tim's been here his whole life, so a lot of people just call Tim direct, and me and Tim have a good relationship. So anything that he's got, I share with him. He shares with me, and I can share my information back with him. So pretty good working relationship.
And you mentioned you have a couple openings now.
Yes.
What kind of person are you looking for that would be a perfect fit to come to Iva and work with y'all?
Somebody professional, organized, friendly. Somebody that would be a good fit here. So, not really. I don't think there's really any cookie cutter type of officer out there. So, somebody that has an interest in it. I'd like to find somebody certified, but or if we can't go that route, then we'll find somebody. We can send them to the academy, get them trained.
You want to tell you told me a little bit about your history. You want to tell a little bit about yourself now and what y'all are doing, that kind of thing? Just, are you married? Do you have family?
I'm married. Like I said, I'm married. Me and my wife, Regina. She works in food service industry, so she travels a lot with her job daily. We have our 2 boys who live here, here in town. So not a lot to tell. Just.
Now you sound like all the law enforcement guys I talk to. What do you have any hobbies? Or everybody's too busy to have hobbies. What are your hobbies?
I guess my biggest hobby right now would probably be, I think since it's the week of the 4th, we just got a new pool. So I think this week is my biggest hobby, is that pool, I guess. So I'm on vacation this week, so we're utilizing that as much as possible. So, but we do have a Harley. We like to ride, and we get out and shoot guns. And you can't help but live in this area and not love to fish and hunt too.